We are now officially on the road to the Tony Awards. Let's get started. I'm Tamsin Fidel. On this episode of the Broadway Show, we're celebrating this year's best musicals, the 2026 Tony nominees for Best New Musical and Best Revival. Paul Wontorek and Beth Stevens sit down with the Tony-nominated stars and behind-the-scenes players who've just been nominated. Titanique is a splash hit musical parody based on the 90s blockbuster Titanic and steered by the songs of Celine Dion. The hilarious comedy picked up 4 Tony nominations.
2-time.
3-time. Get it? Don't get it twisted.
You have 3 pins on you.
I'm a decorated musical theater veteran.
Are you walking on the stage of the enormous St. James Theater every night with an extra
pep in my step?
Yeah.
I feel like I get emotional every show because I'm living my dreams, and I'm 3-time nominated, and who cares if I win? You know, I've done something that no other female in my category has done. I'm breaking glass ceilings, as they say, and I feel like Selena's done that her life as well. So I just feel like this is truly a special moment of my life. So yes, I am walking out with a little kick in my step.
You're nominated for Best Book of a Musical, and I want to know, how did you pitch this to your friends? What did you say?
I said this, I said, what happens if Celine Dion was on board the Titanic and she retold the story through her eyes and songs that fateful night? You know those moments in your life, you know, whatever is happening, and it feels like a light switch and like a really beautiful intuition that has gone off, and you're like, wait, that feels really fun and interesting and weird and cool, and I'm gonna chase that feeling. It was basically that.
Having Titanique nominated for Best Musical, it's such a fun show. You obviously have seen audiences in London and New York now react to it. What do you think is the secret sauce? What about this specific show is just like catching fire with people?
I feel like just on paper, the IP, like we've got Celine Dion songs, boom. Like, I already feel like we've won with that. Like, just having bop after bop after bop, and then, people, they can come to the show knowing that they don't have to work too hard to figure out the characters if you've watched the Titanic. So that's like, boom, that's a double whammy. And then it's just like gag after gag, joke after joke, and we're all kind of just like, it's like we're playing tennis. It's like, your turn now, boom, 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 boom. I come out, do Iceberg, then Miss Deborah Cox come out and sing all by myself. It's like, another person. Yeah. And because everyone's such superstars, they just rise up. When it's their moment to shine, they take it.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing, and to be a part of a company like that, who you never worry about anyone.
The smash comedy hit Schmigadoon is tied for most Tony nominations in 2026, 12 nods in all. It's the brand new musical based on the hit Apple TV show.
Schmigadoon has totally won over Broadway. You know, I mean, it was like a TV show that I feel like a lot of people I knew watched, but I didn't know if the brand name was enough. But
Sure.
Did you know that this was a special role? Like, did you sort of say like this could be something really special for me?
For me specifically, I trained in sketch and improv, but I also am a musical theater girly. Right. It combines the two so perfectly. So when I just randomly got a phone call on a Friday from Chris Gattelli to come in on a reading on a Monday, I was like, I just finished my 2nd round of chemo treatment. Yeah. And my hair was starting to fall out, and I was like, I have to make this. I have to make this no matter what. And I showed up. I was so happy to be there. And when you're willing to do something, it's easier.
12 nominations, that's huge. But if you're a theater goer trying to decide what show to see, and you see the word Schmigadoon, you're not going to know what that means necessarily. So what would you tell that person?
I would tell them that this show has, I think it has something for everyone. It really does. If you love theater, if you don't like theater, like, it has something for you. I think personally, like, when you hear, oh, I want to go see a Broadway show, this is a Broadway show.
So how are things in the land of Schmigadoon?
Joyful. Everybody's so happy. 12 nominations. I mean, it's crazy. And you know the show, so it's like, it's such a celebration of old school analog craftsmanship, and the audiences at Schmigadoon are very vocal.
and they're very engaged. Like, I play the bad guy, you know, Mildred Layton, and she runs for mayor, and she's a terrible person. And in the election scene, so many times we'll ask for a show of hands for my opponent, played by Brad Oscar, and audience will start voting for him. So there's a lot of just full engagement. I feel like people feel like they come and live in Schmigadoon when we're living there, which is everything you can hope for in a moment of theater.
New York, I'm already talking the talk.
So where you headed, by the way?
New York, baby!
Now get ready to fall in love with New York City all over again. Let's talk Two Strangers Carry a Cake Across New York. 8 nominations for the Feel Good Musical of the Year.
Is there anything about the experience of this show that this nomination kind of validates for you?
Ooh, I think so.
Yeah.
Yes, and if I could speak to it, just being fully transparent, my character is like, you know, she doesn't get to be big and she doesn't get to be exciting. She is so vulnerable and she's in such a gray space in her life that transparency, I was nervous that the audiences weren't going to go on that journey with her. I was nervous that people weren't going to be distracted by how much fun they're having, that they don't realize the depth of what this person's experiencing. So to know that it has resonated enough to be acknowledged in this way is like, it was very rewarding.
It's really hard to have a 2-person musical without getting that casting perfect. So tell me about your 2 stars.
Right from the get-go, I knew that when I was auditioning for both roles, I wanted to find the people who could deliver the end of the show, because that's the really tricky bit. Dougal has to find his root and Robin has to find her joy. And both of those actors have both of those things in abundance. They're so talented, and I think what people will underestimate is how in-depth they've gone on their characters.
The show has had a long history and now it's really it has staying power on Broadway. Why do you think it's hitting with audiences?
Well, foremost because the intense fascination and like mythological obsession with New York City is almost universal, I would say. And that applies both to people visiting New York and also people who are from here, which blows my mind and makes me feel incredibly grateful. But it was also the result of a lot of hard work from a lot of New Yorkers and a lot of non-New Yorkers, but intense enthusiasts for this place and what it represents.
One of the nicest things is that every time they do the show, they have to have this reset because they're such good friends in real life where they kind of don't see each other before the show. So when they meet on stage for the first time, it's like they don't know each other.
They have to be the 2 strangers of the title.
They have to be the 2 strangers.
What do you think is clicking about it? Why do you think this show is really having a moment on Broadway?
I think there's so much, but I think the show trusts the audience. I think there's a lot of stuff out there at the moment and in past years where it's you're sort of spoon feeding the audience. But I'm really proud that this show makes the audience listen. It forces the audience to like remember small references that they successfully do every night that we then call back much later in the show, especially when a lot has happened, a lot of big spectacle numbers that could be quite distracting. And it trusts that the audience, Broadway audience, are going to be entertained by 2 people and a single set.
I wanna belong to someone.
The Lost Boys, one of the most celebrated musicals of the season, with 12 Tony nominations. The musical, inspired by the hit 80s classic movie, is a huge new musical, and it's amazing.
12 Tony nominations for The Lost Boys. I mean, it's just a huge smash.
That's awesome.
It's a lot of things that people love to say won't work.
Sure.
It's a vampire musical.
Sure, doesn't work.
It's based on a movie
That's
that
right.
people already love. So what do you think makes it work?
I think we transport people to a whole nother place for 2.5 hours, and I think, yes, it's huge. Yes, it is the big Broadway musical has returned. Yes, it is a spectacle, but I think that doesn't work unless you have bones of characters that people see themselves inside of heart, of threads of the importance of family and belonging and chosen family versus the family you're born into, and great music. Like, I think it's just all these elements have created just like lightning in a bottle, and you know, not the least of which is this insanely talented cast and team.
This is a spectacular show with a spectacular set.
We had amazing inspiration, right? Of course, from the film, which is like kind of visually iconic and had some stuff in it that were like kind of tentpole moments for us that we knew we just needed to deal with in the show. And so that kind of told us something about scale. And then, hearing the score as it developed, because I was, you know how I work with Michael, and we were just walking alongside the pieces that was being created, and like starting to hear that music and going like, oh, this is getting at something. This is extraordinary. This is something, a sound we haven't heard before. But I was like, if we're playing that, we've got, I mean, how do we answer this? It's like, and so I think that got us towards the world a little bit.
The supernatural already like lends itself to singing because you're already like suspending your disbelief there. So might as well like, let's make them a band and like really go for it.
What was your inspiration sound-wise?
Well, we're all 80s kids, myself and my 2 Rescues bandmates. So it's kind of in our blood and our DNA. Like musically, we grew up on the songwriting of the 80s, which is very like pop song form. But we wanted to also write something that felt classic and timeless. And so we tried to bring our sound as the Rescues into it as well, which is very harmony driven. The best thing you can do is just be you, like that proved true for us.
The Broadway Show is back in just a sec. But first, the secrets of this year's Tony nominees.
The best thing I ever won, the sports day at my school. The year before, I tried to win it and I was too slow, but then I trained, and then the next year I got the win. Or Olivier as well. Olivier, I've got an Olivier, I forgot about that.
Best thing I've ever won, am I allowed to say the O word here?
One time I did win an Indie Spirit Award for Best Breakthrough Performance, and Kate Blanchett wrote me a letter, and that was pretty cool, I have to say.
You know what? I just want to hang out with Melissa McCarthy. So, Melissa McCarthy.
You know what? I know Luke Evans only lives a couple blocks from me, so I feel like we need to have a little kiki.
Oh my gosh, you can't just ask that question when Andre DeShields is just like roaming around. Everywhere I go, he's right there. It's so intense. He's amazing.
You know what? I'm just going to use Whoopi Goldberg's mispronunciation and just say Brandon Ursowitz.
Oh, I've heard everything, but Constantine Rasiouli. Or it sounds like Siri. Like Siri's always like, Constantine Rasiouli. And I'm like, thanks Siri, that's not my name.
The most frequent way people like to mispronounce my name is they say Sue as opposed to shoe on your foot. I would be gassed if someone said Hussu, but that won't happen.
I want Pink to teach me how to do those like aerial like scarf things while singing upside down.
I would like to obviously go to the circus with her, duh. Like, let's trapeze, babes, or whatever she does. She better be flying in. She better be flying in.
Oh, fly. I want to fly with Pink. In a harness, everywhere. Around the world. So raise your glass.
Fly. I mean, how many people have said that? Yeah, like, I want to fly. Get me rigged up, Pink. I'm ready.
Fly on a harness around the stadium, together, holding hands. Singing that song from The Greatest Showman, where that song that Zendaya and Zac Efron sing. We ride the stars, and with me and Pink spinning.
Welcome back to the Broadway Show. I'm Tamsin Fidel, so let's get back to it.
It was the music of something beginning and terror exploding.
The acclaimed revival of Ragtime is the most nominated musical revival of 2026, with 11 nominations, including nods for all of its stars.
You know, Brandon, you have a lot of these pins now.
Yeah.
How many do you have?
5.
And 1 Tony Award. So how are things up at the Ragtime?
I feel very fortunate that I've been able to be a part of projects that have given me a really strong sense of purpose. So to be a part of another production that is really speaking to people, people are coming 5, 6 times, and I think it just speaks to the urgency and the vitality of this production in this moment. So all of the accolades are really wonderful and beautiful and meaningful. But, the real win, I think, for all of us is to be doing something that really means something to people and to be doing it together.
I know you came into this project knowing Mother was a great role, knowing this is a beautiful musical, but actually being in it, what have you learned about the show?
It's like the most layered onion possible, and I feel like even 6 months into the run, I am still chipping away and discovering new things about this character. And And I think the main thing that is resonating with people right now is they're coming into Ragtime with maybe a history with the show. Maybe they grew up knowing it a little bit like me, or maybe they're a new generation that don't know it at all. And they're coming in with a certain worldview, and they're leaving the theater open to a different point of view.
This musical is obviously on the top of many people's lists of favorite shows. I mean, I think many people would consider it one of the best musicals ever written. Living in it and doing it every night and seeing how it connects with audiences.
I think doing this role has taught me so much about not only all of these different stories and the different groups of people that we have in America and all the things, but I think it's also taught me a lot about myself and who I come from and where I come from and the strength that I come from.
When you were first working on this show, what was important to you to bring into the movement of the show?
For me, because Ragtime is such an iconic piece of theater that everyone knows and loves, I really wanted to make sure I was kind of reimagining the movement to really tell the truth of all of these songs. I really wanted to have dance tell a different part of the story.
Part of being a wonderful director is assembling a wonderful team. So tell me about your very nominated rag team.
Listen, this is an unbelievable group of human beings. They knew that to go into this story with both the extremes of the promise and the wound of America, it was going to cost something. And I think they decided together, and I was honored to walk with them as they decided to really go all the way.
Cats, the Jellicle Ball is a new take on Andrew Lloyd Webber's classic, Cats, set in the world of ballroom.
Cats, the Jellicle Ball has turned into a sensation. It is just amazing, the response to this show. Why do you think this show has caught fire like this?
Cats, the Jellicle Ball has caught fire because it is revolutionary. And we have been taught to fear revolution. But this is the revolution that we need.
Yes.
This is the revolution that's been waiting on the horizon.
A lot of Broadway audiences know nothing about ballroom culture. What do you want them to know as they walk in the door?
Yeah, ballroom culture, and kind of our tag phrase for this show is come one, come all. Is about coming into a space where people take their chosen identities and elevate them to the highest level and celebrate them.
People from all walks of life come into that room and they are part of a community that is full of love and that is inclusive and is really joyful.
When you were thinking about what the look of this show was going to be, what were you drawing from in terms of your inspiration?
Their feline fashion is what ultimately is authentic, still feels like New York City, but also just is like part of the competition of the world.
When you were first conceiving of how this show was going to move, because this is a real dance show.
Yes.
What were some of those conversations like?
Stamina, the levels of complexity of movements, how much dancing it would be, because it is a lot. And on their bodies, because Vogan is a full body dance, and how could they sustain it for 8 shows?
Our vision was to make sure that every category was represented the right way. Not every category is heavy movement based. There's an instinct, there's a feeling, there's an intention behind it that is ballroom. And we wanted to make sure that that is also musical theater. The theatrics of it all, the theatrics of both worlds needed to coexist and merge together.
Let's do the time warp again. The star-studded revival of the Rocky Horror Show is nominated for 9 Tony Awards, including Best Musical Revival.
Tony-nominated star. What is happening over at Rocky Horror? I mean, what's it like to be in the midst of all of it?
I mean, it's science fiction, you know, and it feels like it is a revival. It's been around for 53 years, and everybody has their opinion about it, including ourselves, individually as cast members and creatives. And it's like this beautiful collision of love languages, both from the audience and from us, of like, this is how we love this thing this time around, and it's really special.
The acclaimed revival of Chess is nominated for 5 awards at this year's Tonys, including Best Actor in a Musical for Nicholas Christopher.
Somewhere in my career, I was like,
you don't do it for the awards, you do it for the recognition, you do it for the art, which is very true. But then they call your name on Tony Morning, and you're like, this is what I've been waiting for. You know, it's like, it's so funny. There's nothing like that feeling.
You know, the first thing I said to my husband, it's kind of morbid. I was like, this will be in my obituary. And he was like, okay. But that was the first thing I thought. That's kind of monumental, don't you think?
I love connecting with the audience. To have an audience of 1,600 people at the Imperial Theater on Broadway laugh at something you said in the rehearsal room and it is now in the Broadway script, that's pretty cool. And I get to do it 8 times a week.
LGBTQ plus advocacy group Family Equality just had one of its big annual events in New York. A star-studded event in Chelsea raised more than $1 million. Family Equality works to help members of the community build families.
I think regardless of what your beliefs are, family is paramount and comes first. And, you know, we champion this idea, but also just kind of represent as a family with 2 kids that we love and spend all our time on.
It's been an incredible week in New York for the latest group of Broadway Across America BTC apprentices. Sponsored by the John Gore Organization, the Regional Apprenticeship Program gives college juniors and seniors and recent grads a chance to learn all about the business of Broadway. It's a semester-long paid internship offered in Broadway Across America offices nationwide, including Atlanta, Cincinnati, Fort Lauderdale, and more. The BAA BTC Apprenticeship Program aims to help these aspiring young professionals get their foot in the door of an industry that might sometimes feel unattainable.
I loved the panel discussions that we've done with different professionals in the industry. The cohort as a whole, we all have so many different interests and backgrounds as well. There's so many things you could do in the industry. So it's really cool seeing different people doing so many different things and having their own unique interests and passions as well. I really enjoyed learning from them and exploring their journeys as well.
At the end of the 14-week program, the apprentices fly to New York for a week of networking and fun. In addition to meeting face-to-face for the first time, the group also explored the city, caught some Broadway shows, and visited the Museum of Broadway.
Something that resonated with me that Kenny Leon said was like, find what makes you you and bring that to wherever you go.
For more information, go to BroadwayAcrossAmerica.com/apprenticeship. And that's going to do it for us. But for tickets, or if you want to see extended cuts of all these interviews, you can head over to Broadway.com. I'm Tamsin Fidel, and this is The Broadway Show.